a lot of people talk about how they feel like outsiders in Croatia. Foreigners talk about how they feel like they're outsiders in Croatia. It's one of their complaints, concerns. And I'm not, it's not invalid. It's not invalid at all. But that being said, you have to work at it. So I'm just going to talk about how I feel, because that's what he asked. And then I'm going to tell you what to do about it. So I do not feel lonely. I do not feel like an outsider. I don't know that I feel like an insider, but I don't feel like an outsider. I don't feel like I am surrounded by strangers. I don't feel like I'm surrounded by people who don't want me here. I do feel like I'm part of a community. I don't feel lonely. Now, I have been here 10 years. I have a support system. I have family. They may not be my blood relation, but from my perspective, blood doesn't dictate family. You can have blood relation that does not act like family at all. That's entirely possible. I believe that you choose your family regardless of whether they're blood related or not. So I have family here, and that took time to be able to develop. I didn't start meeting people until my second year here. And that was pre-expat groups. So I went to my first expat meetup. I moved here May 2012. I went to my first expat meetup in February 2013. And that is when I met Paul Bradbury for the very first time. I remember like it was yesterday where that meetup was at a place that no longer exists. Now, I would say that, okay, I don't feel lonely for a few reasons. One reason is because, like I said, I've developed good friends, family, that kind of thing here, and that's part of it. But the other part of it is that I recognize how cheesy this may sound, but Croatia is my family. Like, just being here, like, this is my home. So because I see it as my home, because I feel inherently that it's my home, like, it's just like a warm hug. It's like it's a security blanket that I have all the time. So, like, there are days when I feel down because I'm human. And when I have those days, I take myself on a date with Split. So I spend the day with Split as if Split is a person. So I don't need to have another like real human being next to me for me not to feel lonely, because Split doesn't make me feel lonely. And that's, you know, I'm always asked like why I love Split, and there's lots of reasons, but part of it is because I don't feel lonely in Split. I don't need to have someone beside me. So for example, on my birthday, I had already celebrated my 10-year anniversary like a week before, 5 days before, so I didn't want to do a big thing. I just kind of wanted to like go and take myself on a date with Split, and that's what I did. I put my headphones in, picked a great playlist, and I went down to the beach. I took myself for an ice cream. I went to a bar that I really like that has a table that in particular where there's just incredible people watching. And I didn't need to talk to anyone else. I sat and I had my journal and I had my beverage or my coffee or whatever, and that was all that I needed. So that is my experience as far as whether or not I feel lonely or an outsider. Now, what do I recommend for people who feel lonely or they feel like they're an outsider? To not feel like an outsider, you have to work at it. By working at it, there are several things that you can do. One, make friends using the expat groups, leverage those, because that's the easiest way to meet people. And people are always open to meeting you. You go in there, you say, hey, I'm Sarah, I like this, I like that. Does anyone want to go get a coffee? And you will always get a few people who are like, yeah. And a few of them will even be like, I'll meet you in 20 minutes. Like, I just feel like there's always people who are open to just taking a risk and going on a blind date with you for a coffee. What's the worst that can happen on a coffee? Nothing. And there are Croatians that are in that group. And that leads me to my second recommendation, is meet as many Croatians as you can. And to do that, you've got to learn Croatian. And it's not a zero-sum game. It's not an all or nothing. It's not like, oh, you either know Croatian or you don't know anything. There are shades of gray. Just any amount of Croatian is going to help you build relationships with Croatians. Even if you cannot be conversationally fluent with a Croatian, that does not mean that you cannot bond with a Croatian in a way where they are going to take you under their wing. I mean, I've been invited to Croatian homes with people that I do not have fluent conversations with. And making an effort to be respectful enough to try to speak as much as you can, even if it's just, the pleasantries and kakosi and those kinds of things, and respecting culture and being curious, and all those things go a tremendously long way and do not take a tremendous amount of effort. But learning some Croatian, learning about Croatians, learning about the culture, those are all the ways that's important for not feeling like an outsider. That's how you get brought into the community. So I would highly recommend those things. As far as being lonely, because while that is on the Venn diagram of what we're talking about with being an outsider, it's not, it is a separate kind of element. So you can combat loneliness by, meeting people. But also, it's about finding the place where you fit. So not just finding the community in which you fit, not just finding a friend circle in which you fit, but finding that place in the world, regardless of whether it's in Croatia or somewhere else, where you fit, like where you belong. And I recognize I'm saying that, I recognize that that's rare. I know that that is not achievable in every scenario, but what I love about Croatia and what I love about doing what it is that we do at Expat in Croatia is that we all do this because we love Croatia and we love helping people love Croatia. But we get a lot of satisfaction out of what we do because you love Croatia. Croatia is such a super special place. Yeah, there are foreigners that move all over the world, but, and I don't like to generalize, but I feel very confident that there's a love of Croatia that people have that is very unique. And that doesn't matter what your nationality is, it doesn't matter whether you have Croatian heritage or not, just there are people that have this deep love. I spoke to a couple yesterday and they have a 2-year-old. They're from the United States. They have no Croatian heritage whatsoever. And they just spent they just had a 3rd trip here and they were here a month and a half and they go back to the States today and they want to move here in January permanently. And so we were trying to discuss their plans on how they were going to be able to do that. And they're like, both of us, they're just like, we have such tremendous anxiety about leaving Croatia tomorrow. Like, we don't want to go. We want to be here. Like, this is where we're comfortable. This is where we're happy. Like, we want to spend our life here. And that is just such a unique thing. So in terms of being lonely, I would say if you want to be here, if you're choosing to be in Croatia, most likely it's because you love it too. So don't just seek out people, foreigners, Croatians, also seek out what it is that you love about Croatia, and then do that. Do that as much as you can. So I hope that answers the question. I hope that that was of value. But that's the truth. And if anyone ever has any follow-up questions about that, I'm always happy to answer them. Or any questions about, how I go about my daily life, how I interact with Croatians, or any advice that I have. Like I'm always up for sharing that, And I'll say this today, just as like one little extra tidbit. My upstairs neighbor, Luce, she's really nice. She speaks no English whatsoever. And there are times when she is talking to me in like a steady stream of Croatian, very, very fast. Not even just Croatian, Splitjani. And she's speaking very fast to me, and I can't understand all of it. But, you know, that doesn't mean that I need to say, ne razumijem, like I don't understand, or malo pričam hrvatski, like I speak a little Croatian. I don't have to do that. I don't have to break, because when you do that, in some cases you have to say that you don't understand, or that you only speak a little Croatian. But when you're trying to develop relationships with Croatians, you don't want to always say that. If there's a way that you can actively participate and listen to them and use context clues so that you give the impression that you at least understand mostly what it is that you're saying, because the more that you say I don't understand, the more that you say you only speak a little Croatian, the more that you only speak English and don't try and actively speak Croatian, the less and less they're going to talk to you. Especially if they don't speak any English at all. So today when I saw I was getting something outside my door, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, but done, and I just said it quick and came back inside, and then she came and knocked on the door, and she's like, oh, you said it too quickly, and then she starts talking to me, she's asking me how I'm doing, and I understood the gist, but I didn't understand the entire picture. So I was able to say as much as I could say, and I, nodded along, and I smiled, and I laughed, and I was able to have a conversation. And from her perspective, she thinks I understood 100%, and I didn't. I probably understood about maybe 60%. But we had a valuable conversation that was able to push our relationship forward, rather than me just putting up this wall of, I don't understand 100%, so I'm just not going to talk to you. I'm going to put the onus on you that I don't speak Croatian, so I need you to speak English to me. So, little piece of advice.